Okay, mathematicians, welcome back. So, for this week, we're going to continue our work that we were doing last week with multi-step word problems. And unfortunately, last week I was kind of promoting our teacher parade, but it had to be canceled because there wasn't enough police able to escort the teachers. I believe that they're planning on rescheduling it for this Friday. So as soon as I have, or Miss Correa have, like a firm date, we'll post it on Google Classroom. But for this week, we're going to sort of continue the theme in our word problems about the teacher parade. But I also know that something that's been going on at school is that we've been really trying to get everyone online, to make sure that everyone has internet, and calling families so that they have their iPads and their Chromebooks. And so I thought, hey, let's do a multi-step word problem focused on that, because some of you may actually have gone to the office, made an appointment, and gotten an iPad or a Chromebook on loan. And so I thought that's something that you would understand if I put it in the context of a word problem. So let's do that for this week for our first multi-step word problem. Ready? So let's read the whole problem and then let's look at it step by step. Ready? Okay, so the office gave out blank iPads on Monday. Can you picture that in your head? Can you picture the people at the office, Miss Julie, Miss Josie, maybe our principal, maybe Miss Ochoa? Can you picture them all there working? I know they were working really hard over the past few weeks, and they're still working really hard, so I can picture them definitely working hard at the office, making sure everyone has what they need. So the office gave out blank iPads on Monday. On Tuesday, you know what, mathematicians, I forgot a word. This is why it's so important to go back and reread everything. Ready? On Tuesday, I'm going to insert that right here, they gave out blank iPads. So I'm already trying to understand what's happening in the problem. I hope you are too. So on Monday, they gave out iPads. On Tuesday, gave out iPads. So I'm already thinking in my head that the number of iPads that were given out is getting bigger and bigger. Thumbs up if you agree. Do you think the amount of iPads, the number of iPads that the office is giving out is getting bigger and bigger? That's what it seems like in the word problem. That's what I'm understanding from the word problem. Let's look at the next part. Ready? Then, on Wednesday, the office handed out blank iPads. So let's think about this, mathematicians. The office gave out some iPads on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. They're giving something out on all 3 days. So think to yourself, what do you think the problem is asking you to do? I know you see the question, but really think before you read it. What do you think the problem is asking you to do? What might you have to do? Sometimes the best thing for us to do when we're working is to anticipate, to predict, to infer what the question might be, because that's going to help us start thinking about all kinds of strategies that will help us in solving our word problems. Did you come up with an idea? Okay, now let's read the question. How many iPads did the office lend to students? Question mark. So let's look at that word right there. Lend. So I understand that in the problem it does say that the office is giving something out, but just as a reminder, this technology is borrowed. You're eventually going to have to give it back once quarantine is over, and hopefully it's going to be over soon, because we're just as excited to come back to school as you are. But for some of you, you might not understand that, especially with this word right here, lend. This might be a word that's new to some of you, so I just thought we would go over it before we really delved into the problem. So how many iPads did the office lend? Lend is another way to say borrowed. Like, I let you borrow my pencil. I lend you my pencil. Did you see that? Like, I let you borrow my markers. I lend you my markers. So it's another fancy way to say borrow. So if you want to be fancy, if you want to use some higher level language, when you want to say borrow, maybe you can try saying lend. So just again, if we'll reread the question, if you didn't understand it because of this word, I just thought it was important for us to go over it. Ready? So, how many iPads did the office let students borrow or lend to students? I'm already thinking some of you have an idea as to what to do with the problem. You already have a strategy in your head as to what you're going to do. If you're working with an adult close to you, or maybe a bigger brother or sister, try and turn and talk and tell them, what do you think the problem is asking you to do with the numbers? What do you think might be a good strategy that you could use to solve this problem? Okay, come back together. 3, 2, 1. So let's think. If we look at it piece by piece, the office gave out iPads on Monday. The office gave out iPads on Tuesday and also on Wednesday. You can kind of infer, even without looking at the question, that you're going to have to try and come up with the total number of iPads. So how many iPads did the office give out altogether? And that's pretty much what the question's asking. How many iPads did the office lend to students? It's very important for us to know that number. So think about that. How many iPads did the office lend out all together? So not just on Monday, not just on Tuesday, not just on Wednesday, but on all 3 days. Do you think we can do the first problem set together? Okay, so, and if you notice and compare the number sets to last week's, they're very similar. That's intentional because I still want you to work on using friendly numbers in your strategies. If you have another strategy you can use, that's great, but I also want you to try and push yourselves to use those friendly numbers in your math. So we're going to have these number sets for this problem today. 25, 10, and 2 for the first one, 25, 20, and 5 for the second, 25, 30, and 10, and 25, 40, and 20. But we're going to practice together with the first number set. Ready? 25, 10, and 2. And I'm just going to find a clean page in my math journal. Some of you are keeping some of this in your home, so that's a great way to organize yourself. So here's my next clean page. At the top of my notebook, I'm going to write my number set. Nice and neat. And then I'm going to make a quick annotation as to what each number means, just in case I forget as I'm working with the numbers in the problem. So 25 was the number of iPads on Monday, the number of iPads on Tuesday, and the number of iPads on Wednesday. So let me think. The problem is asking how many iPads did the office give out. And I already made the inference based on what I reread about the problem, that it's asked me to find out how many iPads did the office give out altogether. So I'm thinking I can put all these numbers together. So if I'm going to do that, I'm first going to look at the numbers in my number set and see if there's anything there that can help me think of a strategy to do that. So let's see, I have 25, 10, and 2. Well, you know what? 10 and 2 are friendly numbers, but there's nothing that I can do with the numbers in terms of putting them together to make another friendly number. But one thing I do notice about this 10 is that It reminds me of something that I'm an expert in. I'm really good at counting by tens, so I think I'm going to choose a strategy that highlights how great I am at counting by tens. And if you're someone who's also an expert at counting by tens, you can do a similar strategy. So I'm thinking I can start off at 25, count on by 10 because I'm really good at that. I know that that's just making my number bigger by 10, and that just takes me to 35. And then I can count on 2 more. 36, 37. So the total number of iPads for the first number set that I figured out is that the office gave out 37 iPads. So now I'm going to think about a number sentence that matches my work. So let's see. At 25, I added 10 to the 25, and then I added 2 more. You see that? 1, 2. And then that led me to my answer of 37 iPads. Did you do something similar? Did you come up with a similar strategy? If so, that's great. If you came up with something different, that's okay too. Remember, we want to see a variety in your thinking, so if you came up with something different, that's awesome. And if you came up with something similar, that's okay. So let's see. I could just stop there, but that would not be my best work. And that's something that I really want to emphasize right now, really want to highlight, is that a lot of you in your homework, I'm seeing that you're stopping here when you can do more. You have your strategy, which shows us you understand the problem. You have a number sentence. Everything's very neat. But most of you are still forgetting to write a detailed explanation in terms of what you did in your strategy. Some of you are stopping by saying the office gave out 37 iPads, but that's not an explanation. That's basically your number sentence written as a sentence, as a regular sentence. But an explanation really showcases all the steps you took to solve the problem. So I want you to try and follow along with me and focus on the words and the details that I'm using in my explanation so that when you go and do it in your work, you are able to do it independently and to the very best of your ability. Ready? So I'm going to start off with the word first. So first, and I'm going to think back as to what's the first thing I did. So first, I noticed the 10 and counted by tens from 25 to get to 35. Then I counted on by ones, and that's exactly what I did in my thinking. You notice that I didn't do one bump to 37 by twos. I did 2 little bumps, so I did count by ones, which is why I'm using these words here. I want to be very specific and make my words match my work. So then I counted on by ones and got to 37. Do you see how specific my explanation is? It matches exactly what I did, and that's what you have to do in your explanation. I don't want to see anyone not trying their best, and I know all of you are capable of doing this. All of you are capable of doing your best. So don't stop right here where you write your number sentence. Keep on going and make sure you include an explanation in your work. Okay, well, thank you for working with me today, mathematicians. I hope that unpacking and that sort of like going through of the first problem set is going to help you in your work. I can't wait to see what you come up with in your homework for Friday. Don't forget to watch the next video. Bye-bye.